It's been a bright spot, if there's been a bright spot this year. In that, we expected that. I think we expected the progress may be a little slower. It doesn't mean we're out of the woods. We're hardly out of the woods. This is going to be a heck of a test this week. I mean, starting with their two ends, these guys are veteran players. They're really good players. They're both likely to be all Pac-10 guys. So, it's going to be a real test for us. But I like the way the guys have worked. I think their attitude's been good. And when I referred to the other day about our execution in the game being better than in practice, quite frankly, I mean, we're playing better on Saturday than we're practicing during the week with the offensive line. A lot of that's just, it's timing and, it takes time. So, the good news is that group will continue to get better, I think, dramatically as we go along. And, we'll know a lot more here in another couple of weeks where we're at, but at least I think they're on the right path.
With that in mind, how much of a surprise has it been with McMillan?
It's been a very pleasant surprise, only because we knew less about him probably. Like Adam Geddes, we got to see him he had a good spring, all 15 days. I thought he looked pretty good, and, for the most part. And then he really had a good camp, so, it just seemed like he had turned the corner as a player. And it's been much like Marcus Sucevic, neither one of those guys had played much, but they just steadily kept improving and practicing well. Whereas Nolan, basically missed most of the fall and most of the spring, all of the spring, I guess, with that sports hernia. And his first week in camp, he was okay. And then the second week, he took a step forward and was a little bit better. Third week, a little bit better. And then he's just continuing to improve. And you can't predict that. You have to see it. And so far, so good with him. And I got to think he's getting more confident now because he's had a chance to play a little bit. So, all that being said, I'm not saying it's a Riley Reef story, but it's a little bit like that as it unfolds. Although we had seen Riley more going into the season, so a year ago. So, I think he's got a good future, and it's really good to see that he's handled things, because we weren't sure how he'd play, quite frankly, in that first game, and he's done a nice job for 2 weeks, and we'll just hopefully see him keep climbing.
Have you guys been doing something a little bit, seems like there's been more straight ahead sort of dry blocking rather than on more of the zone? Is that playing to the strength of this group maybe?
No, I mean, it may seem that way, but we're really pretty similar to what we've been, I think. So, it just, this group, their tempo has been pretty good. They're pretty aggressive up there so far. So it's a good starting point.
Can you talk about the running backs a little bit?